So the great thing about this topic is you already know it. The confidentiality, integrity, availability, in security they mean the same thing as they mean in English. Confidentiality, keeping things confidential, integrity, making sure it stays the same. Availability, making sure it's available. These are all the same things as they are just in English. Now, what's different about working with the security side, all about the balance. How do these relate to each other? Because we have to strike a balance in security between the different areas. Now, this is another one of those areas that we're just putting words to things you already know. Now, you're going to see this everywhere in the CISSP or especially CISA. You're just taking concepts that you already know and putting words to it, putting processes behind it. So confidentiality, simply keeping secrets secret. Now, every type of data has its own requirement. We're going to see this for integrity and availability as well. But let's say something like top secret. So some things are really, really secret. And so those things, it's of the utmost importance that confidentiality is very high. Some things we don't really care because we want everybody to see them. Your website, for instance, StumbleUpon, Twitter, you don't care what you put out there because you want everybody to see it. And then there's stuff like Facebook, maybe LinkedIn, your social media stuff that you want your friends to see it, but maybe you don't want everybody to see it, future employers, things like that. Now, if you saw that movie Argo, at the beginning they're shredding all the documents in the embassy. And the reason why is because the embassy is getting taken over and they need to basically shred and burn all of those documents because confidentiality at that point has become more important than the availability of those documents. So another example is, in the Navy we had destruction procedures, ships being boarded or something like that. We have to go around and destroy the hard drives for the secret stuff. And availability, how important is it that data is available when needed? Let's take a Sony example here. From April 17th to the 19th of 2011, so 77 million Sony PlayStation Network accounts were compromised. You probably remember this. This was in the news everywhere. Sony shut down that PlayStation Network, and the outage lasted for 24 days. Now, when you're in the middle of a successful attack on your network, availability goes right out the window because you don't care at that point about the availability. If data is getting stolen, if confidential data is getting stolen, possibly modified, affecting both confidentiality and integrity, you don't care about your availability. There's it's not enough of a benefit to keep the PlayStation Network online. You'll shut that thing down so that you can keep the confidentiality of the data, or in Sony's case, attempt to. Now, integrity, and simply how important is it that the data is accurate? If you think about things like hospital data, your blood type or something like that, if you got the wrong blood type when you went to the hospital, how big of a deal would that be? So we need to make sure that, of course, the data is confidential, and things like HIPAA protect there. But what about making sure that data is accurate? That's more important. That's somebody's life right there. But let's look at like weather. What if somebody hacked into the weather station, your local weather or news station, and changed the weather prediction and said, okay, tomorrow it's going to be sunny instead of rainy? Do we really care about that? Does it really fall? Does it really fall that high on the list? Not really. However, something such as these Brazilian logging firms that hired hackers to get into the government system and change their logging quotas, it's kind of a big deal. A lot of money was made for those logging firms with that. And a lot of deforestation happened as well because of that. So the main idea here is that, of course, we've just gone through the different words, and you probably know the words. The thing is how they interact, and where does your data fall in this spectrum? Is it more important that it's up all the time, that's available? Is it more important that nobody gets in there and changes anything with it, or is it more important that it's confidential? And when you need more in one area, you've got to give in the other areas.